Hey, I think we are officially recording. Cool. So, welcome to Refresh, Retrain, Refocus, as you can tell by this title page. Again, if you have any questions along the way, let me know. Um, what three things we are going to focus on today? We're going to refresh ourselves on why Facebook. We're going to retrain ourselves on what to do on Facebook. And then we're going to refocus our priorities. Refocus on our Facebook priorities. So, first thing we're going to go right into is the why. So again, this is, like I said, this is the re-series, but it's also for people who are new to the company, new admins, new managers, and I'm going to talk about the importance as we go on about all of us being on the same page with what we post, why we post it, stuff like that. And we're going to start right from the beginning. Why Facebook? Why is this part of the job description now? Why is this part of our marketing plan? Why Facebook at all, right? First point is that Facebook has all of the puzzle pieces. What I mean by that is Yelp, for example, does one thing really, really well. And what that is that they do well is reviews. You can look at reviews for businesses, you can see menus and business information. But that's about all you can do from Yelp, okay? You can't really share it that easily. And because it's only reviews, they've gotten into a lot of trouble because you can pay for your good reviews to be higher up, and then people start to distrust them, and it kind of turned into a whole issue there. Craigslist as another great example. They do one thing really well. They have a great marketplace for buying and selling or listing, anything, obviously. But if I want to share that with someone, I have to copy the link, go to Facebook or go to my email or something like that. And again, it's not that much time, right? But it is more time than I want to spend. Facebook has all of those puzzle pieces. You can, in the marketplace, buy something or comment or message somebody, pay for the item right there, and then just go pick it up later. Take care of everything else. You can find reviews on businesses, locations, addresses, everything. The sharing is really easy. Obviously, you just comment somebody. My wife and I are huge supporters of our local shelter, and we always pretend that we're gonna adopt another dog, and we never do. But one thing we can do, you see a nice new pet at the shelter, you can literally just comment the other person's name, and they'll get a notification about it right then and there. So again, just another. They have all the puzzle pieces. Going through some stats real quickly. Average American spends 40 minutes a day on Facebook. Now that doesn't mean all at once. Just go on for 40 and get off. But throughout the day, you are waiting in line somewhere. You're distracted from work for a little bit. You are in the bathroom. Honestly, anything like that, it all adds up. 2 billion monthly users as of late 2017, but the next one is the big stat. Over 1.74 billion daily mobile users. That's why whenever we're talking about posting or making ads or anything, mobile first is the way we need to be thinking, because look, do that math. There are about 80%, I think, at least 80% of people are watching or using Facebook on their phones. So 87%, I did the math. So it's important to think mobile first. The average cost, of course, as we start to get into ads, which we don't really hit too much today, but as we get into ads, it's the best bang for your buck right now. You're going to reach the most amount of people for the least amount of money. Now, can you guarantee that those people will take action? Can you guarantee that they're going to become clients of yours and follow up? No, of course you can't. You can't do that with any form of marketing. But as purely talking about the most people for the least amount of money, Facebook is the way to do it. And of course, all the different ad types you can make, and the analytics and metrics of those ads as you go. Now, the next couple slides that we're going to go over are something I just found actually last week. And we're going to address a couple common myths that I get about Facebook. The first one is that mainly only millennials are on Facebook. My generation, and I get this from older or seasoned agents, my generation or my clients, they're not on Facebook, so why would I want to do that? That's not true. Point blank, it's not true. But just for the record, let's say it is. Let's say that millennials are the only people on Facebook. These are some NAR stats about the demographics of home buyers. And by looking at this, we can tell here, at this stat here, 36 and younger are 34% of the home buying market. Now, if Facebook is just for millennials, let's just say that, do you really want to cut out a marketing method that leaves out an entire third of home buyers? Because very few people 36 and younger, I would love to see the stats for 36 and younger getting the newspaper, subscribe to cable, honestly. My wife and I, we've never had cable as a married couple, or even as while we were dating and living in different apartments out in LA. So as far as banging for your, but again, as far as most people, Facebook. If millennials are only on Facebook, why would you want to leave out a third? And just another important stat here too: millennials make up 66% of first-time home buyers. So again, why would you want to leave that market out? Now, the next stat I'm going to show you is just disproving that. So they use this term, this is from Omnicore, and they use this term here, online, where is it? Online, seniors, online, millennials, whatever, depending on the demographic. That just means people in that age group who use the internet in any capacity. What you're going to see here by all of these statistics in red, not the income one, that one's not as important, but all of these ones here, the vast majority of every age group that is online is on Facebook. So 82% of 18 to 29-year-olds who are online are on Facebook. 79% of 30 to 49-year-olds who are online are on Facebook. And then at the end, of course, 56% of everybody 65 and up who uses the internet has a Facebook profile. So if you're trying to tell me that Facebook's only for millennials, their demographics just point blank tell you that that's not true. It's just frankly not. I mean, we all have anecdotal stories. I talked to one manager in the Woodland, Michigan area where I am, who said his grandma, his grandma in her 90s is on Facebook, right? Now, we also have plenty of anecdotals where my grandpa, who's in his 70s, isn't on Facebook. And I think we get that a lot with digital marketing and online marketing, a lot of anecdotal things where, well, I didn't see the ad pop up, so it didn't work. Well, that's not how it works, okay? It's not something you can tangibly pick up in the paper and prove that it's there. And also, if that is the case, you don't want to be you don't want to pay to be in the paper and then spend money on the paper, because then you're just paying to see your ads to a degree. It gets complicated. Might not make that much sense. It's also not important, so I'm just going to move on. Point here is that if you're online, if you're in an age group that's online, the majority of people in that age group are on Facebook, okay? This sort of message here, and this is sort of oddly placed in terms of content, but it's something that I'll refer back to very consistently throughout the rest of the next 53 minutes or so, 52 minutes or so. And it's a quote by Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary is he's known as Gary V. He's a very prominent digital marketing, I guess, guru. I know I hate when I get called that word, but that's what he is. He's a digital marketing investor, guru. He's got his own ad. He's got a lot going on and he's very smart. And his philosophy on social and digital marketing is what guides mine, and sort of therefore guides the companies. But there are hundreds of papers, articles, and video tutorials, and I'll add some even created by myself for Schmidt family of companies, that will teach you how to create Facebook ads. But what will determine whether yours will work or not will be how much time you spend listening to your consumers and gauging what content will best speak to them. The only way to figure that out is to experiment and see what happens. So it's something that I tell agents a lot, that there's sort of, and I say this whenever I go through like a Launchpad or regional training, I say there's the how to do Facebook and the why we do Facebook. One of those without the other is not going to be effective. When you have both pieces of that puzzle, though, which is a really easy puzzle, 2 pieces, then you're going to do well. So what this is saying here is that I can teach you how to do everything you want on Facebook, how to make an ad, how to create an audience, how to upload a video, anything and everything. But unless you know what you're doing, and unless you're listening to seeing what your audience and what your consumers want, then it's not going to work. It's not going to be successful. And I think I say this soon, so actually I'm not going to say this quite yet. But yeah. So this is just a theme, this experimenting and seeing what happens and playing around and listening. It's a theme that we'll kind of refer back to throughout the rest of the presentation. So responsibilities for admins and managers. Each office has their own Facebook page. There are very few exceptions to that. Up in our northern region, shout out to Jessica and Sarah, there is a page for 3 of our offices that are very close together, one page to represent all 3. But generally speaking, every office has their own page. Also, generally speaking, admins are responsible for posting daily content and running any local advertising. Sometimes the manager will be the one who does that for that office. But the main point here is that, first of all, that's kind of worked out between the admin and the manager. But the boots on the ground, the person the way we have it set up, in essence, is that we have a boots on the ground person running the page. I am not the person who is going down and posting content for our Florida pages or for our Ohio pages. The people in that office are responsible for doing that because that's what we've seen work the most. I know other Coldwell Bankers throughout the company who have one page for their 20 locations, and all posting comes from that page. I'm sure that obviously makes things a lot easier, and we've looked into that a couple of times doing that sort of method. But frankly, the pages that we've seen really kill it, the stuff that really works is the local advertising, the local content. And I don't know what's going on in Venice, Florida, or in Strongsville, Ohio, or even in Traverse City, even though I'm up there relatively often. You guys, the managers and the admins who live in those areas, you know what's going on. You know what's important to your communities, and you know how to best speak to them. And that's why we have you in the offices run them. Any local advertising as well, easy boosts, homes of the week, featured properties, featured agents, and we'll get into that more later. If there are larger campaigns, I'll of course come in and take, and help along with that, but the day-to-day stuff is run by you guys. This next point, if there's one thing you guys take away from today, and I'm sure every presenter always says something like that, but if there is one thing you take away from today, it's this point. I have been in a lot of different offices, and I've seen some offices where the admin is killing it on Facebook, and the manager has zero involvement at all, and they just don't even, care about Facebook. And I've seen the reverse, where the manager is really involved and loves the idea, but their admin is not applying it very well. And therefore, again, just like the two puzzle pieces of the why and the how, if the admin is on board but is getting no direction from the manager, then the page is kind of wandering. And of course, if the manager has the buy-in but their admin's not pulling the weight, then that's also an issue. But so what I want you guys to do, and trust me, I'm based out of an office where the manager is incredibly, incredibly busy, just like almost every other manager in the company. But I think at least quarterly, the admins and the manager should have a little meeting about the page. 5, 10 minutes, 20 if you can spare it. What are your goals? What is the content you want to focus on? What's lacking? What do you want to try? What are the ads that you want to focus on? Hey, maybe we should try an agent of the week sort of thing. Or maybe we should move from a listing a day to every other day or something like that. But those are the decisions that you can, of course, involve myself and Tracy in, but it's going to depend on your office's needs. How much are you spending on ads? Again, another office sort of question. It would be great to have best practice on office pages by both admin and the managers, i.e. name the offices we should watch. I'm going to have to read that in a minute, Mike. It would be great to have best practice on office pages by both admin and manager, i.e. name the offices we should watch carefully to learn from. Well, I'm going to, throughout this, Mike, I'm going to be referencing pages that do really, really good content and really do nail it. So I guess for now, I'd say take note because I'm going to reference a few throughout here. So yeah, budget's going to be a big thing that we talk about at the end too. How much should we be spending? I'm not going to get too much into that now because that'll be a bigger point later, okay? Content. So this is going to be a bit of a refresher, and I've given presentations like this before about content, but I kind of go a bit more in depth and have better examples this time around because it's been a year now. So there are 4 main types of content you should be looking for in posting. A solid page has a healthy mix of all of these. And I think, kind of back to your point, Mike, is that there are some offices I've seen that do some things really, really, really well, and they might be lacking in something else. And there are some that I see, maybe that part that one office is lacking, office B is nailing, but they don't have what office A is. So I will say, obviously being based out of the Holland office, that's where we test drove a lot of things, and I'm going to refer to the Holland page a lot, because A, CJ does a great job, but B, there's some growth stats I'll show us later that kind of prove a point of mine. But as we go through these different content types, you'll see these examples. So listings, office/agent/brand, lifestyle, and local/community. Now again, these are sort of terms that they're not words I created, but terms I came up with to categorize as content. Many pieces will fall into multiple categories. They're not meant, when I say you should post at least once a day, don't be like, I need one lifestyle, I need one listing now, I need one local or community piece, because they might be the same thing. You'll see examples again as we go on. So I'm going to start with listings, okay? New listings, price drops, open houses, solds, etc. Anything involving a specific listing from one of your agents falls under listings. Now this next point in bold, obviously it's bolded for a reason. Listings should only be roughly 20% of the content you post. Now again, guideline, right? But we kind of have a golden rule that we call the 20-80 rule. 20% listings, 80% everything else. And this can be tricky depending on your market, depending on your office size. Depending on office sizes, some I've seen will post every listing because they only have 8 or 9 agents, so there's not too many listings. Sometimes, depending on the office, I know that Traverse City does this. They do a listing of the day, a featured listing, because if they posted and same with Grand Haven and Holland, Grand Rapids, a lot of our bigger markets. If we posted every listing from every agent, let alone every price drop, every open house, every sold, etc., it would be incredibly overwhelming. There would be far too much content. And the vast majority of the content would just be listings, and that bores people. Think of it this way, if I work with Coldwell Banker, Woodland Schmidt, Muskegon, and I purchase a listing through one of your agents, and you ask me to like your business page, and I do, but all you post from then on out is just listings, well, I'm not going to be interested because I just sold my home with you. I'm not looking for listings anymore. Whereas if you, and this will be a big key as we move on again too, when you try to make yourself the digital mayor of your town. That's the sort of the philosophy that we have. If you give value and bring value to your content and audience, that's going to be the stuff that people look out for the most. So talk with your manager, run things past me, or talk with your admin about what you guys want to try on a listing game plan. Now, maybe you try something, maybe you do a listing of the day and you boost that for $5 a day, or maybe you decide that's too much, you do a listing of the week. And again, testing and experimenting to see what people react to the best is important. Kind of moving on, I'm actually going to go on to Janie's post here from the Muskegon page. This is an ad that I've done a lot of webinars on in the past, and there's stuff on the online office on how to do them. But an open house ad. So instead of posting every individual open house, a few of our offices do this sort of carousel ad where you see images of 4 or 5 open houses, but when you click on it, it brings you to all of them. This has been really successful in the markets that I've seen people use it. I know those are normally ones, obviously, where open houses are more prevalent. So again, it's just an example of something that we do. But you can see too that both of these, and I'll use Jenny's as an example, she tags the business pages of all of the agents who are featured on these photos. So that's also agent value besides just listing value. Whoops, whoop, 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 boom. Another great example on the left from Cami in Strongsville. Cami, I think I saw you were on this, so shout out to Cami for on this call. But one thing that she does, one thing that she's done here that we're using as an example is just a sold. It's a nice photo with a sold banner across it, but it says another gorgeous home sold by Renee and Justin from Coldwell Banker Schmidt, Strongsville. So not only again is this a listing post, but it also brings agent value to this. To the post, sorry. So these are just 2 examples of things that you can post as far as listings go. Of course, videos. A lot of agents do open house tours. Maybe you want to take one of those videos and share that to the page too for their open house. But again, depends on what you want to do. Another kind of example of office to office content. Some offices will share from their agents, agent business pages to their page as far as open houses go. Some just post them themselves. There's no right or wrong. It just depends on what you and your manager decide. Office/agent/brand. This is probably like 3 different subcategories. Obviously, I just looped them together for sake of ease. What's going on in your office? What events do you have coming up? What funny, interesting things happen? I mean, in terms of film and TV, this is sort of the behind the scenes, right? What's going on when the cameras are off? Even though there are cameras on. That's people love BTS. People love seeing what's going on. For example, last week I was in the Grand Haven office for a few hours, and I was lucky enough to be there on the day where they had a chicken wing contest, where I think 6 different people brought in their chicken wings, and we all ate a bunch of chicken wings and decided which ones we liked the best. That was a lot of fun, and it's also the kind of thing people love seeing. And you take pictures of the 6 wings together, or you take a picture of the winner with a trophy. If people, I know this is a cop out, but if people bring their pets in, take a picture of your new office mascot for the day with a picture of the dog or something like that. This next point is a big one that I'm going to hammer on in a second. What can you do to appreciate your agents? I fully believe that the main goal of our business pages, like I said, and I'll say later, is to be the digital mayor of our town, to give value to our community, and to be seen as more than just realtors. I think a close second for your page could be argued that the goal is to bring value to your agents. We're going to see a great example of that on the next page here. And then thirdly, what does the brand offer? So Coldwell Banker LLC and Century 21, they have some great content for your respective brands that you can pull from and do awesome videos for, or and share those and see, share on that level too. So there's, this office agent brand is anything, I guess what I'd say behind the scenes or brand related. And we'll look at some examples here. Going back, actually, I'm just going to go to these two first. If you have a dog event or an adopt a pet event, that's obviously the big Coldwell Banker push. Shoot a video. Excuse me. Shoot a video there. Do some photos from that event. Because again, and this will fall into local and community too. You're doing something cool for your community, and your agents are down there. You take photos of your agents volunteering. Kind of along with that, you see the second post here from earlier this week actually that Becky Borchi posted. They were doing to do Launchpad training, full house. So again, this just shows, hey, our agents are engaged. They're learning more. They're trying to be the best agents that they are. So it's just another great way of sort of giving your agents a bit of value because they can go, oh, look, there I am. We all know that people love seeing themselves in photos on Facebook. But this third one here that Ginger and Angie started in Traverse City, I think is a really, really great idea that really took off. So they do an agent of the week. And I don't think either of them are on right now, so I might be a little bit off on this, but I'm pretty sure it kind of is first come, first serve. People can sign up if they want to, and then I don't know if it's random or how it works, or if it is first come, first serve. But they pick an agent, they do a little bit of a bio. You can see they kind of asked Bart a couple questions, or they got a little bit of a bio from him about himself, and then they just posted his photo and boosted it a little bit. And it took off. I mean, I honestly, 248 reactions you can see on here. That's amazing. I was probably the angry face because I didn't want Bart to be chosen, but he's not on here, so he doesn't know that I can say that about him. But for real though, 248 reactions on a post that reached 3,300 so people. That's an amazing success rate of reactions to posts. And this does a bunch of purposes, right? This gives the agent value because they see themselves being boosted into the community that they work and live in. And it also shows our community that we're not just buying and listing homes. We care about the agents that we work with. We are a family and we like giving them shout outs. We like giving them praise. So this was a really fantastic idea that Ginger and Angie did that has shown some great results as you can see. So just ways that you can, and again, maybe you just take this and you run with that and you say, no, we're going to do that. Maybe you do an agent of the month, or you have that agent do some. If you do an agent of the month, you have that agent prepare a lot of content for you that month. And again, we'll get into more ideas earlier or later. But the point is that this is just one idea that someone else came up with that is great. So lifestyle is going to be anything and everything that is sort of hobby related, or not, like I said in the first point, not directly related to real estate. These are just some easy examples, but interior design, gardening, hobbies, holidays, etc. You can find this stuff anywhere on the internet. The Coldwell Banker blog and the Century 21 blog are great because they're branded for our brands already. There's some great content there. Google, if you just search Google for home renovation tips, I'm sure HGTV will be one of the first that comes up. But there are plenty of blogs and sites and people who are posting great content and interesting content. And then, of course, the same thing, Facebook search. Go to Facebook and search DIY and then click on videos and see what comes up. You have plenty of options to see this sort of content. Some great examples real quick. One from Elizabeth in Ohio. Let us show you how to perfectly execute a date night in your own kitchen that is sure to be a lasting memory for you and your loved one. Happy Valentine's Day. So again, holiday related and helpful tip related. Sometimes starting a home project can be a daunting task. To psych yourself up, try one of these quick and easy 10-minute ideas. Now, you'll see and I'll talk about the write something box more later. You'll see that this is not just 2 words. Check this out. Wow. Interesting read. All right. There's actual thought put into these. But another thing to keep in mind too is that you are never going to find content that every single person will be interested in. If you do, let me know where you found that because I want to use it. But as an example, my wife and I are very animal involved and very shelter involved. So whenever I see anything pet related, I'm interested. I'm immediately interested. And you'll see with the example that I go to in a little bit, Let me get it up real quick. I'm using how to make space for a new pet at home. Now, this is something that would be close to me that I would probably click on and read more about. If you're not a pet person, you're probably not going to do that. For another, maybe someone posts 5 great after-school recipes for the kiddos or something like that. For me, not something I would click on because I don't have kids and there's not really a need for B. But someone, a mom or a dad who is at home when their kids come home, that is something they might click. So all this to say is that you're not going to find content that everybody is going to love, and that should not be your goal. But whatever you're posting should be interesting to somebody. Don't just post and schedule for the sake of it. Think to yourself before you share something, is this something that someone would click on? Maybe you're not a DIY person, but you look at the 5 home projects and you go, is this valuable content? Is this something good? And if the answer is yes, then go ahead and post it. This third one is a really easy example and kind of a fun one from the Pure Michigan page for our Florida and Ohio friends. Pure Michigan is just our big marketing campaign for the state tourism. They have a beautiful page of videos and of scenery and of local cities and stuff like that. It's really cool. But this is a video that they posted to their business page that was, here in Michigan, we're lucky to have some beautiful, or most picturesque destinations in the nation, but they're not all easy to pronounce. And it's a video of people trying to pronounce the most difficult cities to pronounce in Michigan. And the value that brings you is humor. It's entertainment, right? You're not learning anything necessarily. Well, you might learn new city names, but the point is that they don't need to be, a lot of the easy examples are tips of the day or 5 home this or 3 ways to blah, blah, blah. But it could just be interesting local content, interesting lifestyle content that people watch and go, huh, that was fun. And then the last category is local and community. This is just anything regarding things going on around town. This sort of content with a mix of this lifestyle stuff is, as far as just blanket content goes, some of the stuff that I've seen perform the best. I always think, original content from your agents, from you, from the office will always do best, especially if there are babies or puppies or cats. But this local stuff does really well because people want to know what's going on in their community. And you can find this, again, just like the lifestyle stuff, you can find this anywhere. Local events, businesses, news pieces, even things your office does. Again, they can, like a dog event you'll see on the next slide. A dog event is great for your agents, great for your office, and great for local and community stuff. Plenty of local businesses have Facebook pages and post content daily. If you go to Facebook and just search Holland, or search Big Rapids, or whatever city you're in, or the area you're in, and then just click on pages, you're going to see so many pages that you can pull content from. And not just like a local business like a microbrewery or the library, but also, the Holland Tourist Bureau, Holland City Downtown Hall, or someone in Newaygo, Tommy from Newaygo on Tuesday said that she pulls from her Chamber of Commerce a lot. So there's plenty of pages that want you to share their stuff, and maybe you strike up a deal with one of them and say, hey, we'll share 1 or 2 of your posts a week if you share 1 or 2 of our posts a week. So yeah, just search your city on Facebook or your area and see what comes up. Again, some examples. We'll get this one out of the way over here. Adopt a Pet event with a really blurry, chubby JD. But again, Adopt a Pet event underway. Come on down. If you'll notice, my video is popular with women between the ages of 45 and 54. I don't know what that tells you. I don't know what that tells me, but it means I'm doing something right. In the middle here, you will see the one from one of our Florida pages that Tabby shared. Free admission to a story time for kids every Saturday at a local bookstore. Now, this is a perfect example that this might not be something for everybody, right? As someone who doesn't have kids, I'm probably not going to go down to story time for kids on a Saturday at 10:30. Probably going to be sleeping in if I can ever sleep past 9 anymore. But the point is that it's nice content. It's interesting, and if someone sees that, they might change their mind or they might learn about it and go there from that post. This third one on the left, I know we're reading backwards, but this is a great post that CJ and Holland did, and I post, I was at this Adopt a Pet event, so I posted this video, but CJ does 99% of the work on that page and kills it. Now that the snow is back, what places in Michigan do you like to see in the winter? And you'll see not only reactions but comments. People actually responded with, and I cut some off with what they like to see in the winter. And this is where I want to go off the rails just for a quick second as an example. One stat that you might, if you know anything about Facebook marketing, or that you might have even heard me throw around before, is that on average, if you post something to Facebook as a business page without paying for it without boosting it, your post will on average reach 1 to 2% of your audience. Or sorry, I'm sorry, 2 to 4% of your audience. So on a page of 907 likes for the Holland page, doing some quick math there, 18 to 36 people should see every post that we do, and that's it on average. Sometimes it's going to be higher, but generally 2 to 4% of your audience. If we go back to this post here, we'll see that this post reached 322 people with only one share, and that was probably another agent or a person, but 322 people saw this post, which is, nearly, or actually over a third. So they say it should be 2 to 4%. We reached about 35% of our audience. Why? Because the content was good. We made a decision, like last January when we started this philosophy of, community first, digital mayor, that sort of stuff. We made and we told ourselves that we're going to be the digital mayor of our town, and we're going to post good content that people like to engage with, and we're going to post good ads. That was in January, like I said, and I would say not till August or so did that really fully catch on. But that consistency, and I tell this to agents too, consistency is one of the most important parts of what you're doing on Facebook. And now we're at the point where a third of our audience sees everything that we do, generally. Again, this video too, not boosted, 588 views. People are commenting and reacting, but it's because we were consistent and we posted good content. So 2 to 4% of your audience seeing your post comes from people who don't post good stuff. That's what makes that stat the way it is. How to? JD, go to the internet now. So while I switch over really quick, do we have any questions on anything we've gone over thus far? I'm going to take a sip of water while I wait to see if anyone writes anything in. All right then. So let's move on. How to post to Facebook. I'm going to use 2 examples on how to post something to a business page, but these rules will apply to 98 to 99% of the internet, and if it doesn't, don't use that site. So, this post here, I sought out ahead of time. It's from the Coldwell Banker Blue Matters blog, just coldwellbanker.com/blog. And let's say I always read it over at least a little bit. You don't need to read it word for word, but make sure you know what's going into the content, okay? And maybe you do want to read it because it'll be useful when you're writing something. So, you read it a little bit. All right, cool, good. Here's what you're going to do. You go to the top, you go to the link. Now with Facebook and with a lot of our Coldwell Banker tools, this is just kind of a side note, I always recommend using Chrome. Chrome always seems to do best with the softwares and the programs. I literally just switched over to Chrome about a week ago. I've been Safari up to that point, but a lot of things can be solved by switching to Chrome, whether we like it or not. Excuse me. So, go up to the link up here. Actually, I'm going to take one last step back. You'll notice right over here on the right, a lot of websites have a share to Facebook, share to Twitter tab. Those are perfectly acceptable. They do the job, but they sort of limit a couple of options, and I want to show you what that means here in a second, and why I do it the way that I do it, and why I recommend us doing it this way. So you're going to right-click over here and click Copy. You're going to go back over to your business page, and just where it says Write Something, you're going to right-click and paste, or you can do Command-C, Command-V, and boom, it should pop up right there. I've had issues sometimes where people say that the photo doesn't pull over, and it just kind of shows up like that. That's generally a Wi-Fi issue. And so maybe you want to refresh the page, try again, hopefully have a better connection. But generally it wasn't fast enough to pull over the image. So from here, the first thing you always want to do is delete this link. Just delete it. Make it go away. Then always write something. And like I was saying earlier, don't just say, wow, or even never thought of that. Or new blog post is what I see all the time. That is not useful, helpful information. Write something personal about it. You can do first person if that's something you want to do from a business page, or you can keep it sort of generic. I think one example that I thought of while I was giving this the other day is maybe leading up to an Adopt a Pet event that you have going on. You can write something like, with our Adopt a Pet event around, oh man, bear with me, around the corner. These are some great tips for prepping your home for your new, as they say, forever friend. And then make it a little friendly. Again, one big thing about this whole digital mayor community thing is that people don't want to feel like they're talking to a robot or a service. They want to feel like they're talking to a person. So with our Adopt a Pet event around the corner, or maybe I can just change that to here. Here are some great tips. Oh my lord. Here are some great tips for prepping your home for your new forever friend. Smiley face, right? Makes it more personal. I hate using this word, but sometimes this does require a little bit of creativity or a little bit of time to think about what you got to say about something, but it truly does make the difference. And yeah, it is really useful to make sure you have something powerful going up here. Not too long. You don't really want more than 4 or 5 lines. This is obviously a little over 2. But you don't want just 2 or 3 words, because if you're not going to take the time to tell me why I should read or look at something, then why should I do it? If you're not going to tell me why it's interesting, then why should I give you my time and engage with you? Okay? So, always make sure you're writing something engaging. Just like CJ did with the other post, or kind of going back here. Honestly, my example here isn't that great. It's pretty short. I was in the middle of trying to get the video up, though. That was more important to me. Here, free admission, check out this. And then she shares a little quote. CJ says, now that the snow is back, what places in Michigan do you like to see in the winter? So you ask them the question. So from here, let's say you're happy with this post. You can publish it, or do it right now. Or maybe, there is nothing wrong with posting more than once a day. I encourage it if you have the time to do that. But never post more than one thing an hour. So maybe I just posted right, because they'll compete against each other if you do that. So maybe I posted right now at 4 o'clock, a little after 4, and I want to schedule this for later today. If I click this little downward triangle, I can click schedule. And maybe I actually want this to go live tomorrow. So I'll click the calendar, switch it to the 23rd, and then say I want it to go live Friday night at 7:37 p.m. and then click schedule. Bada boom, your post will go live. Now I'm not going to do that right now because I already posted it to my page earlier as an example. But boom, that's how you would do it. I also want to show you how to do it as a listing. Sort of same deal. I always recommend going from the Coldwell Banker or CB Great Lakes, Hunter, or Florida Home sites, not from the MLS. Don't have time to get into that right now. But again, you're going to copy the link, go back to your business page, you're going to paste it in. It should pull in the image just like that. But and then you take it out and say, as a list, remember, as an office, you do have to credit the agent who's listing it. So you say, oh man, beautiful new listing from Andrea Crossman group. The views from the, or maybe you say, sits right on Lake Michigan with a sunrise view you have to see to believe. And then say click below for more info. And then if it's an open house, of course, you'd say open house Saturday from 12 to 2. Open hour. Not happy hour, not open hour, open house, right? So, but maybe you go, okay, this photo isn't great, or I want to put more photos in. This plus sign right here allows you to do just that. You just click plus, and as long as you have those photos somewhere on your computer, I'm just going to go to my downloads real quick, you can pull in other images. I'm just going to pick some random ones that I have set in here. Boom, boom, boom. Open. And they'll load right in, and now you've got yourself a carousel ad. Once it loads, take your sweet time, sir. And 3, 2, fetching preview. Okay, so now that we've got these 4 photos, I can rearrange them. I can start with this one. I can put the house one first because I like that one the best. Move this one here. And I can even edit the lines underneath each one to make a carousel, okay? And then again, schedule, post, do what you got to do. Now, the reason I show you that is because when you click on any of these, let me go back here, any of these Facebook buttons over here, watch what happens. If I click Facebook, first thing that you see is that it actually automatically goes to my personal page. So if I don't want to post it there, I have to make sure I click on share on your timeline and switch to a page you manage, and then pick the right business page out of the 90 that I'm an admin on, and then post it there. Secondly, and thirdly, you can't schedule it. It has to go live now, and you can't add photos to it down here. Now, if you saw something you just want to share it right away, there's nothing wrong with this method at all. It's just very limiting in the options that you get in regards to posting. So I feel like if you're scheduling for a week or scheduling for the next few days, the copy and paste method is always going to be best. So are there any questions on those couple things we just covered there, the how-tos, the scheduling, the posting, anything in that sense? Once, twice, 3 times a day. Okay, no. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the presentation. Do examples, how to. All right, our Facebook priorities, sort of the last section. We're on the home stretch here, guys, I promise you. And then it can be Thursday night, and then tomorrow will be Friday, and it's going to be a great weekend. I can just tell you that much. Not for anything specific. It's just going to be the weekend. So I've said this a couple times throughout. Our goal is to be the digital mayor of our community. We want to be seen as more than just realtors, more than just a support staff. We want to be a part of our local community. And we do this on a bunch of levels. Of course, we do it by hosting events, by sponsoring things, by being involved. But our business page is a great opportunity to do all of those on a digital scale as well. Our goal is to give value to our communities, our audience, and our agents. Sort of in that order. And the first two are sort of the same thing, right? Communities and audience. That your audience is your people on Facebook, and your community is normally the people that are on your business page. And again, when we get into ads, our goal and our hope is to also promote the brand locally throughout our communities, through our ads, and also through the stuff that we do. Again, a video post about our dog event or an Adopt a Pet event is promoting the brand. But here's one thing that I want to stress, and I get this a lot, more on an agent level than anything else. But Facebook is a tool, and we need to use this tool correctly. The number of people who come to me or are brought to me, they say, I want to do a Facebook ad for my listing. Nothing else has worked so far. Well, first of all, you're already seeing Facebook as a last resort, so that's the wrong mindset to come into it too. But secondly, I say, okay, sweet, let's do a Facebook ad. Do you have a business page? No, I don't have a business page. Okay, well, do you have a personal page? Oftentimes they say yes at that point. They do have a personal page, but they don't have a business page, and they want to create a page just so they can boost an ad. Now, technically speaking, yes, we could do that. We could create a page, and we can create an ad from that page with 0 likes on the page and do it. But that's not how Facebook is meant to be used, and that's not how you're going to reap the benefits. And then you're going to get mad at me for it not working when I warned you in the first place that this is not the appropriate way to do it. And this is another side rant, but don't you look at Facebook as a last resort. If you ever plan on using it, do it now, so that when you are ready to do it, or when you do need it, you already have it there. But in order to create an ad, you have to create a page, you have to set it up, you have to create your audience, you have to know what your ad's going to look like, etc., etc. Just like you can't efficiently use a hammer on a screw, we need to use Facebook the way it's meant to be used. Now, I used that example with Max, I think, in our marketing department, and he said, well, you can hammer in a screw. And I said, yes, of course you can, but it's not going to be easy, and that's not what either of those things are going to be meant for. So again, just like with the Facebook ads, if you want to create a page just to boost an ad, we can do that, but it's not going to be nearly as efficient as if you've been running your page and using it correctly. Because again, the people and pages that I've seen be successful with Facebook, some people say I want to do seller leads. I want to get sellers in my area, or I want to get new recruits in my area. There are absolutely ways to do that with Facebook. But if your only way of doing that is just putting out an ad and hoping to gather leads, it's not going to be as effective, because that's not how people interact on Facebook. So it's finding ways to interact with people in the way that they want to, and that down the road you're hoping that they come to you and that they work with you. And I've seen that happen. I've seen agents who are really successful. I was talking with an agent in Big Rapids on Monday, Big Rapids, Michigan, and he says all of the stuff that he boosts, sometimes he does listings, but it's oftentimes brand stuff about him, videos of listings where he's front and center. And he said somebody in a DTE energy truck stopped him the other day and asked him some questions about stuff because they recognized him from the videos. He's known as the video guy when it comes to real estate in his area. And that brings in clients without him even needing to ask for leads. They recognize him and they go, oh, I want to list with that guy. So we need to use Facebook the way it's meant to be used. This means something that I've been hammering in for a long time: video. We have to do video. We need all of our content should, as much as possible, be video focused, video centric, all of the above. A lot of local pages have great video. MLive is a local news company in the West Michigan area. Your local newspapers and pages like that love to post some video. Your businesses, like I said, locally will too. But there's a saying in digital marketing that content is king, and that original content is their king, and or some wording of that. But basically, what I mean there is that sharing videos and finding them online will be great, but if you can do your own videos in your office, those are always going to do better and be better for your page. So instead of, like, referencing the chicken wing contest I was talking about earlier, instead of posting a photo from it, do a short video. Do a 20-second video. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It could just be a panning shot of all the different chickens and then the crowning at the end of the day or something like that. Maybe when you do an agent of the week, maybe you have them do a video or two every week. Hey, Bart's our guy this week. We're going to have him do 2 videos. One little bio video about him, and then one where he shares his favorite story from working in real estate, or something fun like that. Always think video first. Going back to these articles I was thinking of posting earlier, when I see this article, maybe I go, that's really useful information. Maybe I should have somebody do a video about that. And I find an agent in our office who's really pet friendly or pet forward. And I say, hey, so-and-so, do you mind, I found this article, do you mind shooting a video for me sort of like that? We're talking about the same sort of topic. Or you can even, and I do this a lot with my videos where I'll say, hey guys, JD here, I found this really interesting article and I wanted to talk about it with you. And then I tell you about that video, or I tell you about that article. But think of it this way: is when you're on Facebook, are you more likely to see an article headline, read the headline, click on the article, wait for it to load, and then read it? Or if you see a video auto playing on your Facebook page, are you more likely to watch that? So if you can do it in video, do it in video. And you'll see this last point here. Sorry. Do not post YouTube videos. I've said this a bunch. I say this every time I talk about video, and I still see people doing it. And I want to show you why this is bad. And just to clean it up, just to get out of the real estate mindset just for a second. And this is just an easy example for me to use. I'm going to talk about my brother's business page. He's a musician, local musician. You should check out his stuff on Spotify, by the way. Sparkplug is pretty good stuff, but I'm also biased. Bear with me while this is the one thing I forgot to prepare ahead of time. Let me scroll down. Don't worry about that silly little thing there. 3, 2, 1. Come on, load. See? Okay. Of course it's not there. Almost there. It's right after this. So I want to show you the difference. Why? Okay, we're not going to post YouTube. Why? Well, point blank, Facebook sees YouTube as a competitor. Facebook wants to be a video platform as big as YouTube. And so they see them as a competitor. So let's look at this post right here. Zooming in a bit. This is what a YouTube link looks like on Facebook. First of all, he included the link up here, which is what I was telling us earlier. Don't always delete the link afterwards. But secondly, this is what a YouTube link looks like on Facebook. You got the little square there. You've got the text and title. And if you want to watch it, though, you have to click on it and go over to YouTube to watch it there, right? Compare that to, scroll way back to the top because I have it pinned, a Facebook video. Look how much bigger this appears on screen. And look how big it plays too. When you're scrolling on mobile, it plays automatically. And because the link is gone, I can add a link if I want to do an ad where I can click on it and bring me right to where I can buy that song. Or look at that listing more obviously. But the point is that Facebook video just shows up bigger and better than a YouTube video does. Any questions about that part of it? So another thing, like I said, one thing I want you to walk away with is having these conversations between managers and admins. But another one is video first, and not just on an agent level, on an office level. Okay? So find ways to incorporate video into what you do. And again, going back to what Gary was saying in that quote, it doesn't need to work right away. Try a video, and if it doesn't work, if the audience doesn't react, or over time if it doesn't work, then don't do it again. Try something else. Do a different video. But the goal is, or the part of that process is experimenting and coming up with ways to do these things. How do you post the video not using YouTube? That's a great question, Cami. So you do need to have, if it's an original video, I think you mean like if I have a video that I want to post, all I need is the file. And what that's going to look like, I'll just do it to my brother's page because we're right here, is where it says share a photo or video. You're going to click there. And then it says upload photos and video, and you're just going to click, and instead of finding the, like here's a video that we have here for a listing in Florida. Instead of picking the photo, I'm just going to pick the video file and click open. And then this is going to come up, and it's going to have me fill out a little bit more info. And I have a video on this already on cbsocial.media about uploading video. But again, you're going to say something. Just like normal, you're going to add a title, which could be, if it's a listing, I just do the address, but maybe it's like, Easter potluck 2018. Or, sled race or Merry Christmas 2018, something along those lines. And then you pick a thumbnail. They will pick 10 for you from your video, but if you don't find one that you like, you can just add a custom photo, and then you just click publish. Now, if you're saying maybe you go, you found a video that you want to share to your business page, but you found it on YouTube, the first thing I would say is search for it on Facebook first. So, for example, the Coldwell Banker brand commercials, the new Blue campaign. Coldwell Banker, maybe you really like those and you found them on YouTube, but you want to post those to your Facebook page. Go to Facebook and go to the brand's page, and they have them here under videos as well. So if you find a video on YouTube you like, search for it on Facebook. See if you can find it somewhere. I hope that answers the question, Cami, on the how-to. If not, let me know. Any more questions about Vidya? No? Oh, cool. I answered it. Cool. Okay. Well, we're on the home stretch of the home stretch here, or we're in the final third because we're talking about game time, soccer. This is the best player in the world. If anybody tells you differently, bring them to me and I'll have a conversation with them. Okay. I want us to come up with a game plan for 2018. What are your office's biggest goals? What do you want to promote? And more importantly, what's your budget? Okay. Like I said earlier, have these meetings with your manager, between the manager and the admin, and then bring Tracy and myself in, or just one of us in, depending on what you guys are looking for, or what advice you need. But say, hey, I think we're gonna try a listing of the week, and we're gonna try a boosted community event of the week. I say, cool. See how that goes. See how many likes that brings in on the post. See what the reaction is, and then if that doesn't work, try something else the next week. Again, nothing wrong with it. So. What's your budget though? This is something. Oh, hold on though. Carolyn Stern accidentally sent me a bunch of pluses, so I think that means she thinks I'm a really positive person. Thank you, Carolyn. I also try to be as positive as I can be. What's your budget? So this is one thing that I see happen a lot. Most areas, most offices, not all, have one or two agents in their market who are doing really well on Facebook. Sometimes it's one of our agents, sometimes it's another company. But those agents or those offices will come to me and they'll say, we want to do what they're doing. We want to be as prevalent as they are. And I say, awesome, let's do that. And then they say, I'm trying to spend about $20 a month on Facebook right now. You can't compete with the big dogs and spend a fraction of what they're doing. That's not how this is going to work. That's not how marketing has ever worked unless you have like a video or a post go viral, which, hey, that's amazing, but that is the exception to the rule, okay? There was one of the agents I was talking with recently said that they spend $35 per ad, and they might do 4 or 5 ads a month, depending on what it is. That's great. But if you're trying to compete with that person who spends $35 per ad, and you're only going to spend $20 per month, or even $50 per month, you're not going to compete with them. And then again, I have people come back to me and they say, well, it's not working. One guy was upset with me because, not with me, but he was complaining to me that he had his ad and nobody clicked on it. He did it for 3 days for $5 and it was his first ad. Well, what do you think was going to happen? That you're going to have all these leads flooding in? It's not how it's going to work. It's not how it works with anything. But your budget, the point. Let me actually go to the next slide here. We have been dipping our feet in for the past year. It's time to stop that and to dive in. If you want to compete on a high level with Facebook, then it needs to be a big part of your marketing budget for your office or for your advertising budget. I know that certain offices, maybe even the one that I'm sitting in right now, spends a lot of money on print still, more than we should. And that might even equal into the thousands per month. Again, I'm not using a specific name or office or even amount here. But let's say your office spends $1,500 a month on print. If you tell me that you're only going to spend $50 a month on Facebook, I'm telling you to flip-flop that. I mean, Gary Vee is someone who will talk in just absolutes and extremes, and so and I don't normally like doing that, but I'm going to for this sake. If you are spending $1,500 a month, let's minimize that. If you're spending $900 a month on print and $100 on Facebook, you need to flip that. You need to spend $900 a month on Facebook and $100 on print. And none of our offices are spending that much. I know that, I know it's going to be different from market to market, but my point is that this should not be a little extra thing that you dabble in. This should be where you spend your money. What type of content deserves boosts on our page? Do the lifestyle posts? That's a really good question, Mike. And I actually, and that is technically the end of my presentation anyway. So I am going to talk about that really quick to show you something interesting. Yes, to answer it. This is where those conversations come in, where you say, "Hey, what should we post?" I've seen these lifestyle posts do really well. For example, on our luxury page, luxury is just a blanket harder market to hit on Facebook than other markets, and I've seen that not just in real estate, but from other people I've talked to, and reports and studies that I've read, is that there are absolutely affluent people on Facebook, but it's a harder market to break. I wonder if I can find it from the insights here. So we do our listings of the week, we do our home of the week, and they bring great results to those listings. But but every once in a while, we've had a home of the week fall through. So about less than a month ago, we had that fall through, and we did not have a home of the week. So I spent part of our normal budget on that on some other posts, and I want to show you this. These are 2 posts we did in the same week. For $25 on this one post, that we did not create this post. This is an article that I bet you is, shout out to Jessica for being awesome. Jessica found that and posted to our page that I boosted. For $25, we reached first of all, look at this. 230 reactions on that. 37 shares, 234 link clicks, and 3 page likes. So people actually came and liked our page from this content. So did people clicking on this article grow our business? No, it didn't. It did not get us the lead by someone clicking, but it grew our brand. We got seen by almost 5,000 people for $25. And that's a really well, and even for the worst performing post that week, 2,000 people for $25, another 3 page likes. So over the course of that week, we got 6 new people on our page. It was actually even more because of other reasons, but it was the most page likes we'd gotten in a week in many months. And again, 80 reactions on a post, 6 sneaky tips for buying a luxury home without wads of cash. And if we continue to boost those ads to that market, or to our audience that we've created, they're going to continue to see Coldwell Banker Schmidt Luxury, and they're going to start to associate that name with luxury. And then, of course, down the road, who should we work with? Coldwell Banker Schmidt Luxury, right? So all that to say is that lifestyle content can be a good idea. Maybe what you want to focus more on for your office is you want to look at the local stuff. Because that stuff, again, can do just as well. Maybe you spend $10 on and maybe, again, maybe you start out, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, maybe you start out $25 a week for Facebook, $100 a month. I'd still go higher than that eventually, but $25 a week. Maybe you say 10 of that is going to be for listings, for our agents, 10 of that is going to be for local events, and then 5 we'll have left over for something else. I'm trying to scroll down to find some better content to talk about, but maybe that's not that one. That's not a good example. Sorry. But maybe you find like a local event going on that you would rather boost than a lifestyle piece, or again, maybe they fall into the same sort of deal. Or maybe this one here that I was talking about earlier, maybe this is one that CJ did that I think this would be good to post or to boost, because it brings our area up, it brings our name up, and stuff like that. So, how are the office page boosts paid? Is the office manager putting this on a personal card? There are a bunch of options. You can do that if you want, Mike. We do have a marketing card for the marketing department that whoever will be doing the advertising for your page, if you have them reach out to me, I will hook them up with the marketing card info. Now, it does come out of your office's budget. It'll get billed back to you. So if you spend $200 a month, or $200 over 2 months, I don't know, I'm just using silly numbers, that will get billed back to your office. So what will happen is I'll give your admin the marketing card info, and then and this is really, really important, they will need to send me the Facebook receipts every month. Facebook will email them automatically, and then I need those receipts because I send it to Tracy, and she's got to have receipts for every expense for the business. And sometimes people forget, and that can be frustrating, but that's one way to do it. If you want to do it where you put them on your personal card and then you get reimbursed, that's obviously an option. That's up to you. but there are different ways, and you know that's something that you want to set up. You can totally just email me and we can work it from there. Um, but yeah, that's sort of how we do it. Cool. It's 4:30, so we're at the hour mark. Are there any more questions from anybody? And of course, if there are questions, if something comes up later, you can always email me. You can always call me. But if I'm gonna wrap it up as I wait for another question, any more questions to come in. Thank you, Mike. I'm happy to be here. Trust me, I love working for this company. So, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day. I know that afternoons, especially towards the end of the week, can be busier, so it means a lot that you guys were here. I hope it was useful information. This one will be recorded and it will go up on YouTube and Online Office. So if you know somebody who missed it, or if you have someone new start soon, please send them that link and have them watch it. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend, and I'm sure I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.